Local actor Edrick Browne says he likes to take on projects that give back to the community, so he decided to teach a theater and television production class to inmates at the Carol Vance prison in Richmond. Some of those now former inmates have used the skills they learned to document their lives after prison in an 8-part series called After the Bid. Browne, joined by Success Nwosu, a cast member and a cameraman for the series, tells Houston Matters' Edel Howlin why he thought these would be good skills to teach inmates.
So I realized when they started to come home, they had no job potentials. They had no ideas of what they wanted to do. And trying to get work is very hard when you have that strike against you, which is you've been incarcerated. And I realized working on sets that a lot of individuals don't care about your criminal past. They just want to know if you can show up and do the work. So I wanted to encourage these guys to learn about this craft of theater or film and television, learn about the different aspects of lighting or being a gaffer and being a director. No one cares if you had a criminal record, and this could be a potential for them to have employment and not have to go back to some of the things that led them to be in prison to begin with.
Success, has that been your experience?
Yes, the reality he talked about, I was the one that lived it. I went through that experience in this position because I was once incarcerated. I was on Caravans, and that program added as a stimulant, almost to relieve not only stress, but set a paveway for us to have that job, job type of setting. It provided that for us, and it provided it for me as well. It kept me productive,
How long were you in prison for?
I was incarcerated for 10 and a half years on a 15-year sentence.
For what, if you don't mind me asking?
Aggravated robbery. I was young. I was probably about 15. Kind of got involved with a lot of stupid decisions with friends, and it cost me 10 years of my life. That was a big reality check. And so it helped, because at this point when I was at Caravans and we were able to get into this video photography, it's the only place in Texas that provides an outlet like that. Where you get to film while you're in prison. You get to actually have somebody like this come in to volunteer, mentor, as well as to provide job opportunities in the filming industry. So that was very big for me. It was very big.
Edrick, Success is obviously one of the people that you interviewed and that played a part in this piece. Tell me about the three other, cast members of After the Bid.
In that piece, there are 3 gentlemen and 1 lady. The 3 gentlemen were all in the jail. Cassie, she was incarcerated as well, but she obviously wasn't there with them. She heard about the project that we were putting together, and she wanted to be involved. And she was in the process of getting her life together. She had recently been released, and she has a child who had that separation from her. So she was building back her life and her life with her child and moving towards a normalcy, if you will, in her life. So I felt it would be good to highlight that as well, because it just doesn't plague men.
Hi, my name is Cassie. My SPIN number is 0216691. I'm in the process of trying to get my life together. I go to church. I have a roommate that is my mentor, and I'm trying to get back on the right track.
We worked together on a professional level, but we started to become somewhat of friends, and that's where it began. Dennis Shin, he was on the video team as well. He would come in and do different things, videotape things in the jail. Once he got out, he knew about the project. He wanted to be a part of it.
My name is Dennis Shin, TDC number 645152. I did 22 flat years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice on a 99-year sentence. I've been out a year now, just trying to live this life again in this new world, so to speak.
Because the whole point of this was to give these guys a chance to implement some of the things that they've learned and showcase them.
Yeah, because they kind of shoot themselves, right? They're talking to the camera.
Hold the camera.
My name is Paul Robinson. 28 years of age. Right now, I've been out 3 months. I'm blessed to get a job. I have a nice place to stay and basically to earn my own money for a chance.
Paul Robinson, he did music. So the music you hear in the show at the end is him.
This is real talk from the heart. How many times have you struggled just to take care of your mother?
I'll tell you a little bit about Paul. When he was incarcerated, this jail did a wonderful thing. A lot of the guys couldn't obviously read bedtime stories to their children. So they would come into the room where he was at and they would record themselves reading different books. So he had very extensive knowledge on how to do mixing and sound and things along those lines. So we were able to utilize that with him doing his own vocals at the end and making a rap and putting that in. And he did that song that was at the end was actually created in jail. And the music, the beat in the beginning of the piece actually was created in jail.
If you can have a second chance in life, would you finally get things right? Would you do all that it takes to undo all the past mistakes?
Success, what were you thinking you would do when you left prison?
Took a few communication classes in there, and so I thought that would be an avenue that I'll pursue. But when the video photography class came into perspective, that was something that's a wild opportunity that I wanted to be a part of.
When you talk about that, the idea of you wanted to go to college and try to get a job, Edrick, what you really wanted to show in this video is that unfortunately there's a lot of barriers in the way, and it's just not that simple.
Absolutely. I wanted to show there are barriers, and also to make this as a deterrent for people that wanted to go down the wrong path. A lot of people are glorifying this life of crime, and I'm from the streets and I do this negative behavior and I smoke this and I shoot this. These are individuals who did that. Now look at what happens to them when they have to come out. You know, people forget the pain that you cause your family. You know, you don't do the time alone. Your family does it with you. You lose loved ones. It's not TV. You don't go in shackles and stand there with sunshades and have two cops on your side. Success could speak to that. When you lose a loved one, you just have to hear about it and you have to deal with it in your cell. So it was a deterrent to make people see, like, this is not where you want to go. You know, you have Christmas here. You have Thanksgiving here. You have your loved ones. You may have a girlfriend who has moved on. You have to think about that from inside here. You have children you will never see grow up, possibly, from in here. So let's look at what this does to us. You know, let's use this as a deterrent. That's why I wanted to get this out there. So, you know, instead of preaching to someone, don't go to jail, don't be bad, these people went, they did it. Look at what they did.
Yeah, I would think for you, Success, probably a lot changed in those 10 years.
It did, because the thing is, when you go to prison, it's a whole different reality. You know, it's a different reality. It's almost, you know, time that has been frozen.
Same day over and over again.
Yeah, it's same day over and over. So it takes a lot of mental strength to be able to find some feasibility of going throughout your day. So what I did was I postponed the thoughts, the ideas, the memories of my family to that present moment. I didn't want to think about it, because the more you thought about it, it's like the more burden of stress you had to deal with. But at the end, I had to deal with it one way or other. Believe it or not, those last 2 years that I spent when I was in a program was probably the most hardest times, because here I have suppressed those years, you know, of going through whatever I was going through while I was in prison, and I thought academics would help. I stayed out of trouble, but I wasn't dealing with the problem, the solution that I was harboring so much inside, you know, and so I had to actually deal with that at the end of my years, and so that became very, very hard mentally. You know, and so, because I was young when I went in, made a stupid decision just that fast, and it cost me 10 years of my life. In the process of it, my father passed away, you know.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And it was like a best friend of mine, you know, so dealing with all that, that's the reality. You know, with the violence that's going on there, then you have to keep a focused mind if you want to do something positive, and then still deal with the circumstances or reality of where you're at.
What does that first day feel like, walking out of there?
First day when I was leaving, it was unreal. It was unreal. I couldn't begin to express a sense of excitement. You know, one moment I remember I was just asleep on a cold steel bunk bed, and then from that moment, here I am walking away from the doors of this prison that I've been 10 years of my life, and now I get to get my life back. I get to get my name back. Get to get my identity back. It meant so much. It felt so good, because it felt like I finally had an opportunity to move on in my life.
Edrick, there's a lot of messages that you want to get out through this. Is there anything else you'd like people to take away from seeing these stories?
We all make mistakes. We're all humans. We should get a second chance. Just because someone went to jail doesn't mean that they're less of a person than you are. There are people that don't go to jail to commit crimes. So let's treat everyone fairly. Let's give people an opportunity to redeem themselves. You know, we are in a place where, America, where we should all have a chance at a good quality life. These individuals paid their debt. Now they're coming back into society. Give them a shot. And for those that are watching, try to keep yourself out of these situations that will put you where they are.
I wish that I could right all my wrongs and find the places where I truly belong. I want a second chance at life. I am gonna live it the best way.
That's Edrick Browne, an actor and producer of an 8-part documentary called After the Bid, which follows 4 former inmates' lives after prison. We also heard from cast member Success Nwosu. They spoke with Houston Matters' Edel Howlin. There's a link to the documentary series trailer and all 8 episodes at HoustonMatters.org. And that's it for today's show. The Houston Matters team includes Michael Haggerty, Edel Howlin, Maggie Martin, and Paige Phelps. Tom Carter's our technical director. I'm Craig Cohen. Join us tomorrow for those and other Houston Matters.